Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. So, I got some stuff in the mail. Oh, hell, a couple days ago or so I've just been messing with. But also, there was an update to the Chromatic. I didn't realize there was an update. I just generally use it like normal. I don't really check their website unless I'm buying something. But I figured out there's an update. So we're going to check this out. I've already updated the Chromatic and everything, but also they're finally shipping these little power cores for it, making them rechargeable instead of burning up all the batteries you own. So these run about, I think, $30. So it comes in this little box, matches the whole Chromatic theme. The future is retro. Rechargeable power core, which is really nice. I mean, I like, gameboy colors and whatnot, but man, the cost of batteries will eat you alive. So here we are with my Chromatic, which you guys have seen before. And if you didn't know, I covered it really quickly that they're doing a whole second launch. The Sapphire Chromatics are now $100 more. So instead of $200 or $300, but now you can get the Gorilla Glass version for $200. Now the difference in this launch are the originals and the ones out now are the original $200 Chromatics. Of course, say first edition. Also, there's 3 stripes down here. The second edition only has 2 stripes. Second edition, of course, doesn't say first edition, naturally, because it's second. And then the difference between the Gorilla Glass and Sapphire, besides, obviously, the materials, is the Sapphire will say Sapphire. Now, one benefit to picking up a second edition is all the first editions, this little cover right here on all the first editions comes out of the box kind of scratched and scuffed up. I don't know why, but they do. Also, the second edition has like a little plate in here, makes this part a little thicker, so when you put your games in, they line up perfectly. It does feel a little off with the first edition Chromatics, and there's a little movement there. So, whereas the second edition will have an insert right there to thicken that up, and then they sit better. Not that it's a problem, not that you ever notice anything with it. It doesn't cause an issue. I've never had a game not work because it's perfectly fine. So the real issue there is the little IR cover being all scuffed and scratched up. So let's get to the rechargeable power core. Where are you at? Okay. Okay, that's easier just to lay it on it and push it in instead of like trying to slide it in, I guess. Now, I've already used it. I had it in my Chromatic, charged it a few times. It works great. It is something, if you have a Chromatic, I fully recommend spending the $30 to get this power core. I also ordered the accessory or mod kit for $15. They have sold so many of them that mine is still waiting to be shipped. They are way behind in shipping those. So if you order one, you're not going to get it very quickly. Now, if you order a Chromatic, they started shipping the second editions earlier this week or end of last week. They sent emails sometime this week, I think. They started actually shipping the second edition Chromatic. So they're starting to go out really quick. So if you order one, you'll probably see it ship within a couple days of ordering it. I'd say 24 to 72 hour ballpark. You'll get email confirmation it's being shipped. Also, I figure I'll mention this. I didn't see it on the Chromatic site, but I got an email about it, that if you order a Chromatic between now and the 14th, they are giving away a one-of-one Goodyear Blimp Edition Chromatic that was used in their little commercial You can look it up and see the commercial of them playing, I think, Pokemon on the Goodyear blimp, and the Chromatic one of the guys is using the white and blue one with the yellow buttons. That's the one they're giving away, the one that was actually used. So if you order one between now and the 14th, you get a chance at getting one of those. Not that, anyway, I never win shit like that. I've been in so many damn drawings, I don't win shit. But let's get to this. So I got the power cord in it. Let's kick it on. Ooh. And I've already updated my Chromatic to the newest firmware. Let's lower that brightness. Okay. So there you go. And it reads it just fine. I was playing on it last night. It was fully charged, but that's after about an hour or so of playing. I've lost a little bit. So, and you've seen the brightness level I was playing at. I'd say just above halfway-ish. Okay. And I do like the Tetris that it comes with. I'm not going to stay playing Tetris. I'm just messing around real quick. And it really is a good addition to Tetris. I mean, there's so many out there, and I think most people like that, what is it, a Potris or whatever. I had a copy of that on a handheld somewhere. I had it stored somewhere. I don't remember where, though. I haven't played it in a while, so I don't remember how good it is or what's different about it. Anyway, so that's that. So let's talk about this firmware update. There's something I didn't know about the firmware update. Apparently, the firmware update makes one of those playable. Now, when I first got the Chromatic, and most people, when they got it, they realized that these carts do not work in the Chromatic. I didn't hate that. I have a Game Boy Color, so it's fine. But I don't know. I didn't hate it. I like the fact that this forced me or forced you to go out and actually hunt down and buy copies of games. Yes, that'll make playing some of your favorite games way more expensive. I mean, copies of like Zelda, Oracle of Ages, Seasons, Link's Awakening DX, they're all roughly between 40 and 60 bucks. I typically find them for about 50 bucks, okay? So, yeah, it would make you do that. All right? So it would get expensive. Like me, one of my favorite games, besides Metal Gear Solid on the Game Boy Color, is Lufia the Legend Returns. Fucking awesome Game Boy Color game, okay? I would love to get a copy of that. I have a bunch of those copies, like a bunch of ones that are for sale saved on like my Mercari. And one of these days when I have the funds laying around, I'm going to buy myself a copy of that. I also wouldn't mind like my top Game Boy Color games would have to be that I want to own a physical copy of. Would have to be Metal Gear, Lufia, Crystallis. Ooh, and Final Fantasy Adventure. Which realistically isn't a Final Fantasy. It's like the start of the Mana series, but it was just labeled Final Fantasy Adventure. Anyway, but yeah, it's the start of the Mana series. Those games are like my top must-own one-day Game Boy Color games. And right now I own 0 of those. I don't own a single one. But, all right, let's jump into this. This is my favorite Flashcart company, creator, maker, whatever. Easy Flash. Okay? Easy Flash Omega, which is your Game Boy Advanced one. Absolutely love the Easy Flash stuff. And, I mean, it lives up to its name. You get the right firmware on it, boom, this shit just works. Save states, everything. They load up great. They work great. I like the fact that there's a reset button See if you can hear it. You press right there and it will reset. So if you're playing and you have it in, you just press right there and go back to the menu instead of having to turn shit off and back on. So new firmware on the Chromatic. No go on the Easy Flash. Let's hit the reset. Try one more again. One more again with the reset. Okay, no mo again. Alright. So Easy Flash does not work. Now this little guy, these ones are your Everdrive clones. Okay? You'll typically find these on AliExpress, things like that. Which you'll see them on eBay, Mercari, shit like that. And it's people buying these for like $10 and reselling them for $40. Is what it is. It has a little reset button right there. You can tap that, you know, just boom, reset. So it's not built in the middle. SD card slot right there. So typically, or the one you want if you're going to go this route. Let me get my camera to focus. My camera's being nice today. It's not tilting. It's not doing its own thing. It's not wanting to focus on anything, but that's fine. That's fine. I can force it a little bit. But what you want is this purplish one, and which I guess you can get them in different colors, but I always see it like this purplish color. But GB Pro Plus Rev H. Look for that. It should say low power consumption. All that good stuff. So this is the one you want. Now it'll say gameboy GB Rev H Pro Plus low power consumption. All that good stuff. Let's pop that in. Now, there's a reason this one is a hell of a lot cheaper. Bam, here it is. So this one does, in fact, work now that we have the Chromatic update. I did try this one. As soon as I got my Chromatic, I actually had this cart ordered. I've had this for a long time. But this one I ordered same day. And when I got the Chromatic and the cart, I tried it. It was a no-go. And I actually got a message yesterday from my brother / sponsor saying, you know, he's getting a Chromatic. And yesterday was our sponsor's birthday, everybody. So if you're watching this, hit the comments, wish our sponsor a happy late birthday. Okay? Just shout out to him, guys. This channel would not be possible without him. Yes, we're not a big channel. We don't have 100,000 subscribers. Our videos typically get about 50 views. But, you know, I stay active. You know what? I even opened an Instagram the other day for the channel. So, yeah, I have a Retro Legion Instagram. I have one post on it. Nobody's seeing shit. I don't have anybody following. I'm not following anybody. It's a desolate wasteland. Just how we like it. So, wish our sponsor a happy late birthday. Okay? Back to the story. He messaged me. He has a Chromatic on the way, which his Chromatic on the way is my gift to him. I ordered him the Super Nintendo color looking Chromatic for his birthday. Can't wait to get it to him. Of course, he knows because I wanted him to pick the color. Anyway. So he was talking to me last night about what flashcarts work. I told him these two did not work. I think he ordered an Everdrive because I think like the X5 or X7 works. A little while later, I realized, oh, like there's an update for the Chromatic. I update the Chromatic because he was saying he's seen that this one works. I was like, no, it doesn't. I update my Chromatic, pop it in. Yep, it works. So I had to hurry up and shoot him a text. Like, oh shit, okay, wait, don't go down the road of ordering a $100 or $200 Everdrive. Go ahead and order the $10 Flashcart that now obviously now works. Now let's talk about the downside of this Flashcart. Yes, you get whatever game you want. Couple things with these flashcards, guys. The RTC, the real-time clock, does not work, okay? So if you're playing a game that requires that, which mainly for Game Boy Color is going to be Pokemon Gold and Silver. They have an actual time clock. You got to set the time. events are triggered by that time. That does not work. You can go into gold and silver. You can start the game. You can set the clock. You can play the game. You can save it. You can exit. If you turn it right back on immediately, you can go right back into your save and play. However, if you save it and exit the game and a couple minutes pass, the time clock is all off. It's all fuckery now. You turn it back on, it won't load. It'll cause all kinds of problems. You know, I've seen some instances where they were able to get it to load again, but everything just starts going haywire because the time clock doesn't ever stay. So you're not going to have a good time playing gold and silver with this. So don't waste your money if that's your goal. Everything else, though, seems fun. Now, the other downside, the control scheme to go in the stuff is a little bit of a pain in the ass. Okay, so B will take you in, A takes you out. Whatever game you played last, if I hit start, it should fire that game up. Boom. Okay. I guess I could have just hit reset, huh? I forget this one has the reset up here. Okay, so A is your back, goes back, B goes forward. I know it's awkward and confusing. So the last game I was playing was Final Fantasy Adventure DX. All right. Now, here's the issue. If I want to play something else, say, here we go, Crystallis, I can load and start. Load just gets it ready, then I can just jump into it whenever. Load and start, we'll get it ready and then start it. So let's load and start. So you see how it says erase? It pretty much queues up one game at a time. So I have Final Fantasy loaded up in the fucking, what is it, SRAM or whatever. Someone's going to correct all this, but it's loaded up and ready. Now by loading Crystallis, it has to erase that off of there. And if you can see the back, yep, it's now loading up Crystallis there. Now that's done. So don't think that light stays on. That's just for loading and erasing. So now Crystallis is loaded up and ready to go. But anything I was doing on Final Fantasy Adventure is now done. I've removed the game. It's gone. So that's kind of the downfall to it. But look at this. You're able to use a flashcart that previously you could not use thanks to these updates. Now, all the other issues besides even the real-time clock, it's all issues with this flashcart. Okay? Now, if they ever get to the point where Easy Flash will work, this one is the most recommended Game Boy Color flashcart out there, especially by me. I back this 100%. If you're looking around on eBay, Mercari, or whatever, and I've done this before, someone was selling a beat-up old Game Boy or Game Boy Color. Actually, it was the yellow, trashy Game Boy Color I have yet to do anything with at my house. I pulled the trigger on that one because the guy wanted $40 and he said it came with a game. In the pictures, this was the game. This is worth $30-40 itself. So I jumped on, ordered that shit, and didn't say nothing. I was just kind of hoping. And then it shows up, and sure enough, he threw in this. Now, the guy knew what it was. He didn't care. Like, he messaged me and said, hey, the game is a flashcart and all this. And I was like, oh, yeah, I know what it is. So anyway, we're all good. But I was super excited because I pretty much got the Game Boy Color for free. Now, that flashcart I ended up selling or giving to someone, I can't remember, but this is my original Easy Flash Junior. So if this shit ever starts working in the Chromatic, this will be the best case scenario right here. Either that or you have to go out and get an Everdrive. Now, I do believe I don't follow Everdrive shit, guys, but I believe one of the versions of the Everdrive, the clock actually does work. And I believe on this flashcart you can even go in. Let me see. Oh, damn it, I hit start. Son of a bitch. No. E-bitch. Okay, hold on. Okay, so here you go. The support bio. So I think this HTTP quirks whatever is actually the Everdrive creator or some shit. I think one of these two is actually the Everdrive creator. So this is why this is referred to as like that cheap knockoff Everdrive, because it's using old Everdrive firmware. You're not going to be able to update these things. They've blocked all this shit because they know the knockoffs are selling rapidly. But you'll have to go, if you really want the RTC to work right now, you're going to have to go spend the $100+ on a damn Everdrive. And I don't understand why the hell Everdrives are $100, $200, $300. Now, I might understand like the Super Nintendo Everdrive, you know, something a little more rare. But Game Boy Everdrives, Game Boy Advanced Everdrives, why the hell are those a few $100s when Easy Flash exists? And these are cleaner looking. I like the black and gold color on the Easy Flash, man. This shit is nice. And they even did, what the hell was it called? I don't remember the name of it, but they even have their DS Easy Flash now. That's pretty much this, but small, clear, black and gold for DS. I don't even need that Flashcart, and I want it just because it looks cool. But so yeah, that's where we're at with the Chromatic. So this might make the Chromatic a little more worth it to some of you out there. I mean, you may have wanted a Chromatic, but was like, damn, I don't want to start a damn Game Boy Color collection because it's so expensive. Wish I could use a Flashcart. Now, you can use that Flashcard. Now, however, you're going to have to go $200 in on a Chromatic. Then I recommend the $30 battery thing there. So, $230 in on the Chromatic. Which, if you buy a Chromatic, they do free shipping, at least in the U.S. So, honestly, if you buy a Chromatic for $199, that shit costs $199 total. So, we'll say you're in $229. Throw another $10 Flashcard on there. I mean, yeah, it stacks up, and then after a small SD card, which get a 32 gig. I mean, get the cheapie because you can fit every Game Boy Color game on a 32 gig flash card or SD card. So I mean, you'll be in what, $250, $250 all in all to get to this point. But if you want that experience, if you want a device like this that does feel premium, I mean, I absolutely love the Chromatic, okay? Just, I didn't think I would like this thing as much as I did. The way I got my first edition was, I actually thought it was going to be a Game Boy Color I was going to get. It ended up being this. The person explained it as a metal Game Boy. It was a big story there. I honestly figured I would use this for a video and get rid of it after. Like, I would just sell it off and then use the money to fund some other handhelds. I ended up absolutely falling in love with this thing. The Chromatic is way better than you'd think it is. I mean, it's a way overpriced Game Boy Color, but then again, if you go to build yourself a Game Boy Color with, you know, updated screens, buttons, new shell, all that shit, you're gonna be in it, maybe not $200, but you'll be in it pretty close, like $150, $160, depending on where you get everything. And if you go buy a Game Boy Color that's already been fully redone, you're going to be into that $160 to $200 anyway. So why not just get the damn metal Chromatic at that point, you know? Next thing we're going to try, when my sponsor gets his Chromatic, we're going to try the link cable feature. We're going to test that out. He doesn't like to be on video. He's not really that kind of a sponsor. I would like him to be, but he doesn't want to do that. So I'll just tell you guys how that went. But we're going to try the link cable feature. We're going to go party at his house this weekend also for his birthday. So once again, everybody, say happy birthday to our channel sponsor. It was yesterday, but let him know we appreciate him and everything he does for the channel. And yeah, if you're interested in a Chromatic, man, I say go for it. There's way better. Look, there's a lot more you can spend $200 on. Okay, you can hit Anbernic, you can hit any of these companies, spend under $100, and end up with something laid out like this with, of course, more buttons. And you're going to get a decent Game Boy Color experience out of it. You don't have to spend $200. So unless you're into collecting shit like this, don't waste the money, guys. I mean, you're going to spend 50 bucks here, 50, 60 bucks here, and have roughly the same experience. So, and I only point this out because I'm not selling anything. I'm not trying to push anything on anybody. I don't have any links or anything like that to post. I'm just giving you my experience and my feelings on it. So I'll never try and push a product on you. And if I ever do, you're still going to get my honest opinion, okay? I'm just telling you, I fell in love with this, and before it's all said and done, I definitely want to own more colors of the Chromatic, because the most common one is this GameStop thing. So, which is kind of interesting. So if you're going to get one, you can spend $200, order any color you want online for the Gorilla Glass version, or go 300 bucks and get the Sapphire one. Or take your ass to a couple GameStops, because a few GameStops out there still have these first edition ones. Go spend $200 on a first edition one at GameStop, and hell, if you want, leave it sealed, post it online for $300 or $350 as a first edition Sapphire, and make you a little money back. You know what I mean? All right, guys, we're going to wrap it up. I know this was like 26, 27 minutes of me just rambling with like maybe 5 minutes of real information. But that's what my channel's about, bitch. All right. All right, guys. Well, being Friday, you're not going to hear from me again until at least Monday, Tuesday. Hopefully you guys have a good weekend. For the last time, happy birthday to our sponsor. Happy late birthday to him. Everybody give him a shout out if you can. And tell me what you think. Do any of my viewers actually own a Chromatic? If you do, tell me about your experience. Okay, tell me the games you've tried from their site, or what color Chromatic do you have. Things like that. Let's have a conversation about it if you do. If you're interested in one and you have any questions and you need help making that decision, because, $200 is $200, ask away. I will answer any questions I can. So, but like I said, please don't jump into this if you're just looking to play Game Boy Color, and you don't care how you achieve that, and you're not a collector. Don't waste the $200. Go spend $60. Get you a trim UI brick. You know what I mean? All right, guys. I'll see you in the next episode.